Donald Trump says it would be more difficult to pardon Diddy after he made terrible statements during election. The legal saga of Sean Diddy Combs has taken a new, politically charged turn following a federal conviction that has landed him in a Brooklyn detention center awaiting his sentence. The conversation now extends far beyond the courtroom, reaching all the way to the Oval Office. President Donald Trump has made some candid and revealing statements about the possibility of pardoning the music mogul, and his comments give us a rare look into the political and personal considerations that influence such a powerful decision. In a recent interview, President Trump was asked directly about whether he would consider issuing a presidential pardon for Combs. His response was both complex and, for many, unsurprising. Trump said that while he was once very friendly with Diddy, a pardon would be more difficult to consider because of what he called terrible statements the rapper made about him during a past election. To understand the full weight of this, we need to rewind a few years. During the 2020 presidential campaign, Diddy was not shy about his feelings toward Donald Trump. In a high-profile interview with radio host Charlamagne Tha, Combs declared that white men like Trump need to be banished. He also went on to say that getting Trump out of office was the #1 priority. These were not casual remarks, they were a public call to action against the man, who now holds the power to pardon him. Trump's recent comments reveal that these past words have not been forgotten. He told reporters, "It's hard, you know, we're human beings. And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office, and he made some terrible statements, so I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more difficult to do." When asked if that meant his answer was more likely a no, Trump simply replied, "I would say so." It's an interesting admission. The president is essentially saying that personal grievances and political allegiances are factors he weighs when considering an act of clemency. This is not just a legal question for him, it's also a deeply personal and political one. Now, let's turn to the legal reality of Diddy's situation. Last month, after a high-profile federal trial, Combs was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. These are federal crimes under a century-old statute known as the Mann Act. This law makes it a federal offense to transport individuals across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. The prosecution's case centered on evidence that Combs flew people, including former girlfriends and paid companions, for sexual encounters that he recorded. While this conviction is serious, it's crucial to highlight what Diddy was acquitted of. He was found not guilty of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. These were the charges that carried a potential life sentence and were the primary focus of the government's case. The partial acquittal led President Trump to describe Combs as sort of half-innocent, suggesting a complicated legal outcome where the most severe accusations did not stick. This distinction is key to Diddy's current legal strategy. His legal team has not given up the fight. They have filed a motion to have the conviction overturned or to be granted a new trial. Their central argument is that the convictions are an unprecedented and incorrect application of the Mann Act. They contend that the law, originally designed to combat forced prostitution and human trafficking, is being improperly used in this case, which they argue involved consensual relationships and paid adult entertainment, not forced coercion or commercial trafficking. As of now, Combs remains in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, awaiting his sentencing, which is scheduled for October. His lawyers have also fought unsuccessfully to have him released on bail, arguing that his conviction on the lesser charges and his lack of danger to the community should warrant his freedom before sentencing. This brings us back to the presidential pardon. The U.S. Constitution gives the president the power to grant pardons for federal crimes, and Diddy's conviction falls squarely within that authority. Historically, presidential pardons are often reserved for individuals who have served their time or whose convictions are seen as unjust. However, the president also has a well-documented history of pardoning political allies and supporters, making the Diddy situation particularly intriguing. With his recent comments, Trump has signaled that Diddy's past criticism has put him in a different category. While some of his legal advisors may be pushing for clemency on the grounds that the Mann Act conviction is a weak and historic one, the president's personal feelings appear to be the most significant roadblock. So, as we look ahead to October, Diddy's fate hangs in the balance. Will his legal team succeed in their motion to overturn the conviction? Will he be sentenced to a significant prison term? And will the political door to a potential pardon, which seems to be more of a crack than a wide-open gate right now, ever open for him? The answers to these questions will not only determine Diddy's future, but also provide a fascinating insight into the intersection of justice, celebrity, and political power in America.